All right, mathletes, we are here. We are at the last section in chapter 5. So we are looking at exponential growth and decay models. So we're going to be using this formula to do these problems. And if you look at it, it looks really familiar to what we've seen before. And that was actually from 5.7. We had A is equal to P e to the RT. It's the exact same formula, they just switch the variables around. So this is, we use these variables for money problems and we use these for the rest of them. You know, just to make it fun for everybody. So this n sub 0 or n0, that's the initial population of something. That's what you start with, just like the principal. The n is the final population. T is time, and these, time does not have to be in years. It can be whatever time unit it wants to be. Money problems, it has to be in years. Your K, that's your growth or decay constant. It's like your interest rate. If it's a growth constant, it's positive. If it's a decay is going to be negative. Okay, so let's try example 1 so you can see how this is going to work. So the number n of bacteria present in a culture at time t, and t is in hours, obeys the law of uninhibited growth. N of t equals 1,000 e to the 0.1 t. So A determined the number of bacteria at 0 hours. So pretty simple, just plug in 0 for t. Well, 0 times anything is 0. E to the 0 is 1. 1 times 1,000 is 1,000. B, write but do not evaluate again an expression that gives a population after 10 hours. So just stick in 10 for the t. And we're just going to leave it alone. Pretty much. You can simplify a little bit because 0.1 times 10, that's just 1. Or e to the first. And that's all we're going to do with it, just 1,000 times e. Okay, part C, write but do not evaluate an expression that will find the time when the number of bacteria reaches 10,000. So now we know the final amount, and we know this thing right here. So that's your 10,000. Equals, and then it's still 1,000 e to the 0.1 t. So just like we did in the previous section, get the e by itself. So move that, or divide that stuff over. So 10,000 divided by 1,000 is 10. I'm going to use the natural log on both sides. Just like that. So my left side, just ln of 10. Right side, the ln and the e cancel out. And then I can divide by 0.1. And you can leave your answer like this. Or if you want to really simplify it, because the 0.1, that's like 1 over 10. And the 1 over 10 would flip. Whoops. And make a 10 ln of 10. So either one's fine with me. Okay, part D. After a period of 24 hours, there are 11,023 bacteria in the culture. At this time, an antibiotic is introduced into the culture. After 3 hours, the number of bacteria is now 2,748. Write but do not evaluate an expression that will determine the decay constant, K. All right, so it's kind of flipping the script a little bit. So this is actually what you were starting with, and this is your final number. So your 2748 is by itself on the left side. Your starting number goes right there. Sorry, right there. So 11,023. And then E to the T is 3, so 3. And then we don't know K. All right, so just like we did before, get the E by itself. So divide by that 11,023. I'm going to use the natural log on both sides again. So take the ln of both sides. So the ln and the e cancel out. And then just divide by 3. So ln of 2748 over 11,023. And that's all over 3. And if you wanted to, instead of just saying divided by 3, you could say, hey, that's the same thing as multiplying by a third. You know, sometimes the book likes to write things in a different way. And if you wanted to again, you could split that ln up with subtraction. You could do the same thing here. You just have that expression over 3. So I mean, there's a few ways you can write it. So you just got to be aware of what you can do. Okay, so that's going to be it for chapter 5. So at the end of this chapter, that's going to be your first exam. So the exam is going to be over everything that we covered, chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All the sections that we covered in the notes. Not anything that we skipped. So like in chapter 3, we only did section 3.4. That's the only section from the chapter that is going to be on the exam. Okay, so try the homework. Look at the study guide. Pay attention to that, what's on the study guide. Or the content that's on the study guide is the exact same content that would be on the exam. So if the content is not on the study guide, then it's not on the exam either. So pay attention to the study guide. The difficulty, pretty similar to the study guide. Just know your concepts as well as how to do something. Because I'm testing to see if you can actually think or if you can only memorize and regurgitate material. So just let me know what your questions are. Seek out a tutor if you need one. And just give it your best shot. Okay. Yeah, that's all I've got. So I'll talk to you soon.